And you are?
Bob Monkhouse.
And your occupation?
Comedian and TV host.
And you have chosen as your specialist subject?
Quiz shows from the 1930s to the present day. Good evening and welcome to Bob Monkhouse on the Quiz Show. You know, when they asked me to do this show, I said, well, I'll take a golden shot at it. I'll have a go. Although I'm no mastermind, I'd go blankety-blank at a university challenge, but I can ask the $64,000 question, so give us a clue. Tell the truth. What's my line? They said, child's play. Just play your cards right, please the telly addicts, and it's 15 to 1. You'll wind up with Bob's Full House. And if there's a repeat, you'll double your money and strike it rich. And I said, bullseye, the price is right. Because I'm addicted to quiz shows. I joined Quiz Shows Anonymous, but they ask too many questions. When I'm not hosting quiz shows, I'm watching them. They're the most consistently entertaining form of television there is. Drama is not always dramatic. Comedy is not always funny. But a good quiz show delivers laughter, tension, and human drama. A great quiz show is one that makes you shout the answer at the screen. You know, we asked 100 people to name something blue. Sky. Sea. Come on, come on. Smurf blood. Man's an idiot. Man's an idiot. Come on, lady. Sky. Say so. Yeah, sky. Top answer. What did I tell you? But what is a quiz? Apart from being an excellent word to get at Scrabble. Well, according to the concise Oxford Dictionary, a quiz is an odd or eccentric person, a person of ridiculous appearance. But this is no time to be discussing Chris Evans. Quiz is also defined as a test of knowledge in a radio, television, or other entertainment program, and those are the shows we're going to be looking at tonight. So, let's define our terms. For our purposes, a quiz show is an entertainment where members of the public, not paid celebrities, are rewarded for knowledge, with either points or prizes or plain prestige. For instance, this is a quiz show. You've got plenty of time. The Queen Mother's London home. Famous house.
Kensington Palace.
No, Clara's house. What is your CV?
Your curriculum vitae.
Is right.
54, please.
Okay, 54, what are you? Yes. Oh, yes. That's a quiz show, all right. On the other hand, this is not. There's £500 in the Golden Sun. There's another £100 situated in the planets. Dead centre will net you the lot. Bernie, the bulk, please. Well, you've got 20 quid there. That's better than being slapped in the belly with a wet cod. That's not a quiz. It's a game show, and that doesn't concern us. Nor do those quiz show hybrids, where contestants combine with guest stars to answer questions which the critic Brian Sewell described as not a test of the contestants' knowledge, but a test of the contestants' knowledge of the celebrities' knowledge.
Frank Bruno.
To Frank Bruno to get a winning line. Frank. Welcome, my friend. On December the 14th, 1911, at the South Pole, somebody reached it. Was it Amundsen or Scott?
I think Scott. Say Scott, eh?
Disagree.
You will disagree. By disagreeing, you win a £10 square and the bonus game. You do very well. Yes, it was Amundsen. But we really can't do a show about quizzes without a quiz. So here's your first question. When was the first quiz show broadcast and what was it called? Fingers on buzzers and no conferring, as somebody or other used to say. Well, in this country, the first broadcast quiz with contestants in the studio was in radio's Children's Hour in 1937. It was a spelling bee, which then became a show for adults in 1938.
For the second time, the battle is on, and Pathé Gazette is privileged to present exclusive pictures inside Broadcasting House.
And now, of course, to America, Mr. McCluskey, the word is fawns.
Fawns, Mr. McCluskey, the noun meaning rural deities represented as men with horns and the tails of goats.
No, it's a new one to me, P-H-A-W-N.
I'm sorry, but the speedometer doesn't agree with that spelling, and it goes back across the Atlantic to Mr. Killick.
I don't believe in them, but F-A-U-N-S, fawns.
That was correct, Mr. Killick. And so the final score is Great Britain 37 and the USA
27.
Quizzes like these were undeniably middle class, even highbrow. But then one show changed all that, Wilfred Pickles and Have a Go. Which brings to mind another question for you. What is the connection between Have a Go and Coronation Street?
Christmas to Drifield's old age pensioners brought the Wilfred Pickles broadcast of Have a Go to the Town Hall.
And here is Wilfred Pickles.
I do. Right, come on, that'll give you a right shock seeing me, isn't it? I bet you thought I'd be tall and dark and handsome, didn't you? Because if it comes to that, I thought you'd have been a bit better looking, too.
The connection I hope you made was the lady at the piano. She was a pre-Coronation Street Ina Sharples, also known as Violet Carson. Wilfred, sometime actor and wartime newsreader, turned Have a Go into a traveling quiz show, a different town each week. It ran from 1946 to 1967, 21 years. It clocked up over 400,000 miles.
Now, look, I'm going to ask you some questions. Now, famous people, some of these people are connected with certain characteristics belonging to these people, and here is question number one. Captain Webb, what was he famous for?
Swimming the channel.
Swimming the channel. Give him half a crown, Barney.
How about that? Half a crown for a correct answer.
No. Marvelous.
Have a Go not only took the quiz show to the mass of the people, but it introduced to the British two elements that would resonate down the years. For the first time, contestants could double their money if they chose, and the host asked contestants personal questions, an unheard of intrusion. I can still hear Wilfred's warm, Hovis-y tones asking, have you ever had an embarrassing moment? And are you courting?
Now, isn't this a grand old lady? What's your name, love?
Miss Hutchin?
Miss Hutchin?
Yes.
Miss?
Yes.
Well, I'll be hanged. You never got married, then?
I'm that totally these days. Meanwhile, American radio had developed its own quirky style with shows like Uncle Jim's Ask It Basket, Professor Quiz, Dr. Dollar, and Kay Kaiser's College of Musical Knowledge. And by the way, that's college with a K. This was the precursor of shows like Name That Tune.
Now, for your last question in the final round, Betty, Ishkabibble is going to mutilate a couple of songs on his homemade Ishbone, and we defy you to tell us what they are. Come on, Betty, quit mocking time. Quit mocking time.
Oh, listen to the mockingbird.
How'd she get there?
Great stuff. Another question for you. How many new quiz shows aired on American radio in 1940? Go on, have a guess. 30. 30 new shows in a 12-month, though the lines between the quiz and the parlor game were becoming blurred with the advent of programs like Truth or Consequences, hosted by the legendary creator of This Is Your Life, Ralph Edwards.
Now, you understand I ask you a question, and if you can't tell the truth, why, you must pay the consequences. You both willing?
Yes.
Yes. All right, we'll start off with the young lady. She gets the first question. Now, here it is. Does a hen sit or set when she lays an egg? Truth or consequences? She sets. I'm sorry, a hen stands when she lays an egg. Okay, Herb, bring on the torture. All right, here we are now. Johnny, you work the bicycle pump and blow up the balloon, and you stand just as close as you possibly can to the balloon and sing Pop Goes the Weasel. Go ahead.
All around the mulberry bush, the monkey chased a weasel. The monkey thought
was all in
fun. Pop goes the weasel.
Come on, sing it again.
Around and around the mulberry bush, the monkey chased the weasel. And the monkey bombs all the time.
Question. Did you recognize the two contestants playing Truth or Consequences? It was the young Lucille Ball and Victor Immature, or mature as he was to become. There was another big difference between the American shows and the homegrown product: prizes. In Britain, it mattered not whether you won or lost, but how you played the game. I refer you to the BBC head of Secretariat.
DHB said that DG was anxious to eliminate the cash prize system, which had grown up during the war, both by not allowing it in any new shows and by gradually eliminating it from existing ones.
But then the big event that was to change everything in British television, September the 22nd, 1955, and commercial television is born. I've always wanted to sound like Bob Danvers Walker. The media magnate, Lord Thompson, called ITV a license to print money, Well, it certainly had a license to give scads of the stuff away on quiz shows, and two of them totally captured the viewers' imaginations. Huey Green's Double Your Money and Michael Miles' Take Your Pick.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Take Your Pick.
And welcome to Double Your Money.
Right over there, and good evening. Just face the front. What is your name?
Martin Humphreys.
Martin Humphreys.
Yes.
The first question is for £1. If Michael Miles went down the mine, would he take his pick?
Well, I expect you would.
You expect he would. You're quite right, darling. There's £1 for you.
The stolen Goya painting was a portrait of whom?
The Duke of Wellington.
The Duke of Wellington is the right answer. No trouble at all.
Now you got £4. What are you going to do? Take the £4 or double it up to 8? Eh?
Double it up to 8.
You double it up to 8. Who was famous for his motoring, flying, and shooting sketches in the music halls?
Harry Tate?
Harry Tate is the correct answer. The great Harry Tate.
Number 4.
Key to box. Oh, key to box number 4. Right. That is also the key which tonight will open box 13.
£16 is yours. What are you going to do? Take the 16 or double your money up to 32? Eh? Eh?
Okay.
You're going to try? Bless your heart. All right, here we come. Which music hall singer made famous the song On Mother Kelly's Doorstep?
Randolph Sutton.
£32. There is here tonight.
Martin, in box number 4, you would have won, my friend, the 82-piece dinner and tea service. However, Martin, let's open box number 13. And Martin, in box 13, you have won, my friend, a trip to the New York World's Fair.
Oh, how viewers loved those shows. And I mean that most sincerely, friends. It may not have been the brain of Britain, but in those austerity-ridden days, it was just what the nation wanted. Meanwhile, back at the BBC, the schoolroom influence had not been abandoned.
Adrian, who might be expected to wear a mortarboard, and what does it look like?
I'm a teacher, a schoolmaster.
Why not?
I can show you. It's a flat thing, and then there's some cloth comes in from the side like a membrane, and it fits over the skull with points like that. And it usually has a tassel on top as well.
Never thought of it being like a membrane before, but you're quite right. Now, Barbara, tell me, how many faces has a cube? Uh-huh. You heard that. All right, I'll give you another one. Now, don't shout out the answers, please. For what do the initials JP stand?
Justice of the Peace.
Justice of the Peace. Yes, correct.
Ted Moat, what are old Carthusians?
Well, these are old boys of Charterhouse. On the other hand, there are monks.
Yes, they're an order of monks,
Yeah,
right?
Monks.
Bamba Gascoigne. So let's go straight into the semi-final. Here's the first starter for 10. What is the name from that of their discoverer of the 1 to 2 inch long, brilliantly coloured fish, often with long fins, which fertilise their eggs internally so that the young are born alive, and which, because of their hardihood and prolific reproduction, are among the first fish kept by novice collectors?
Bradford.
Goldfish. No. Newhall, can you take it? You're on your own, no conferring.
Newhall Norris.
Angelfish.
No, they're guppies, Mr. Guppy having discovered them. A starter again.
Question, which of those shows was the odd one out? Well, if you said University Challenge, yes, in those days it was an ITV show. The BBC could have had it back then, but this is what they thought of the suggestion.
The success of Top of the Form lay in the fact that it was an exhibition of juvenile precocity, whereas university students are expected by the public at large to be better informed than perhaps any other group of people of any age.
But if the BBC shows were still stuck in the schoolroom, ITV was bursting out into the playground. Decorated with the necessary questions and answers and prizes, every childhood game was pressed into service. Noughts and crosses became crisscross quiz.
Fairy tales, please.
Fairy tale. Well, it's still the same price, £900. In the most familiar version of his story, Dick Whittington is alleged to have heard bells telling him to turn again Whittington, Lord Mayor of London. What bells did he hear?
Bow bells.
Yes, he did. The bells of St. Mary le Bow, Bow Bell. crisscross quiz for £140.
Kim's game became concentration.
Mr. Butterworth.
26.
26. Books.
11.
And 11. Camera. Mr. Stewart.
30.
30, 30. The camera.
And 11.
And 11. The camera, yes. Not only a camera, but a projector as well, Mr. Stewart.
20.
20 is the car.
And 8.
And 8. Yes, the car. Star prize.
And then there was Dotto. This was the show that was inspired by those puzzles we used to do in the comics. You remember, you joined up the dots in a set order to create a face, which you then had to identify. On the show, contestants answered questions for the chance to join up the dots. It sounds easy, devising a quiz show, doesn't it? But 40 years on, you have a better chance of winning the national lottery than you do of coming up with a successful new quiz idea. Though if you did, you could end up with even more millions than the Millennium Dome. So how do you go about it? Well, let's ask a man who knows.
Once you've got this idea and you think you want to make it into a long-running quiz show, almost the first thing to do is to start looking for the flaws in it. I have seen, and I've worked on, and I've been involved in, very good formats that looked as though they ought to be on television, but once you start to play with them in a rehearsal room, their flaws come out, and you see that they are not going to work. So, having started with a good format, you then have to take it apart, find out what is good about it, make up your mind what you're trying to do with that quiz show. 15 to 1 is nothing to do with me. It's not about me. It's about testing the nerve and the breadth of general knowledge of those 15 players. 2 questions each in the first round, 1 correct answer from you to survive, and we start with Colin, the monarchy. Who at the age of 59 was the oldest monarch to accede to the British throne this century?
Edward VIII.
Edward VII. Questions have to be gauged in such a way that they will get rid of 12 people by 20 minutes after we start. Not 10 minutes after, not 40 minutes after. That's the tricky thing. Which distinguished magistrate and novelist founded the Bow Street Runners in the late 1740s?
Sir Robert Peel.
Henry Fielding. Again, please.
15.
Sheila, trades unions. The Railway Workers' Trade Union, the RMT. What do those letters RMT stand for?
Railway... No, sorry.
It's Rail, Maritime and Transport. As the people drop out, the questions get harder, the best people are left, the questions get harder, and they drop out until we've just got 3 left for the final. It's that kind of discipline that applies to lots of quiz shows.
Well, we've been talking about quiz show success, so here's another question for you. What is this show, and what makes it so special?
We put in, we'll finish in 3rd place, Cape Town.
I'll be back with the answer, as they say, after the break. Welcome back. And the answer to the question, which I left you with, was the Krypton factor. It was the first British quiz format to be sold to America. Now, you find me standing in front of our quiz factory, where the raw materials, the host, the questions, the contestants, and the prizes are brought together to create the finished article. Follow me. First of all, what are the qualifications for a quiz show host? Well, a less modest person than myself, he purred, would say, look at my CV. But I don't think anyone expressed it better than Mark Goodson, who, with his partner Bill Todman, created around 200 original formats. A successful game show host must be the sort of man who can conduct a witty conversation with a complete stranger while at the same time driving a car with 12 gears backwards down a mountainside.
If something is useless, it is said to be dead as a what? Dead as a dough-nail. A what? A dough-nail. A dough-nail? A doughnut or a doughnut. Doughnut? Hang on, the first bit's right, dough. Dough. And another... Dough-nail, I think it's dough-nail. Well, you're half right, but you're half wrong. That's right. So, is... well, I don't know what to do. Now, I'll try again. Dead as a dough...
Mind your own business. Dead as a dough.
No.
No!
I thought it was no.
If you had one dough, and then someone you offered you another dough, what would you have?
2 doughs.
Being a comedian or a wit seems to have become a routine requirement in this country for being the host of a big light entertainment quiz show. The likes of Brucey, Barrymore, Tarby, Les Dawson, the O'Connors, Tom and Des, all their years of working in the clubs and theatres equipped them as no other training could. It taught us how to pace a show, judge the mood of an audience and the contestants, to know when to step up the tension and when to ease back, and above all, gave us the ability to take charge. You know, without that experience, you'll be just another presenter. And the fact is that usually comedians who are fluent and funny are very good bets to run a quiz show.
We asked 100 single women in their 20s. If a man were annoying you in public, would you have the nerve to hit him where it hurts the most?
Yeah, I reckon pretty high.
18.
Yeah. High?
18. No, 18.
If a man was annoying you?
Yes, 18.
You can have this one, it's 18.
All right. Yeah, you can have... That was a lovely moment I'll treasure forever. Are you going to go along with this, or should we, you know...
What do you want to do? Stay 18.
Let's stay at 18. All right, Mark. The actual number who would have the nerve is 64. For those who can lip read, she said stupid ass. Right.
The business of being in charge is crucial. It was the American writer Maxine Fabe who observed that the host is the quiz show's on-stage producer. Everything that happens in front of the camera is his responsibility.
I've never looked up to anybody in my life. You know, go on. It is.
Yeah, I've never seen the top of his head.
You won't believe this, Rob.
What's that, Joe?
There's a hole in it.
And now a rabbit.
So, from fact or fiction, Melanie, name a famous magician.
Paul Daniels.
I will not say anything during this. Thunderflush toilet, invented by Thomas Crapper. Pardon?
False.
No! Unbelievably. Probably where it all started. Flushed with your early success, you went round the bend, didn't you? Helen, you're in total charge of this particular round.
Of course, some men carry their need to control to extreme lengths. A host of America's version of Family Fortunes, Family Feud, once told me how he literally handles the contestants if they talk too much. He asked me, he said, do you use the cheek tear? The cheek tear? No, I don't know what that is. The cheek tear? Well, you get a contestant who's hyper, you know, trying to be funny than you, interrupting the game. Well, just be so extra friendly to this butts that you put your arm on his upstage shoulder, you know, the side the cameras can't see, and you just slip your thumb into his mouth, between his teeth and his cheek, like so. He showed me. And you smile at the guy. You keep talking to him, and just tighten the pressure, you know, till it hurts. Quiets him right down. The cheek tear. So far, I've had no occasion to use it. I'll stick with my usual bull point in the armpit. Now, let's look at the next ingredient, questions. Over the years, I've written millions of quiz show questions. My favorite dates back 50 years. If you own a peacock that lays an egg in your neighbor's garden, to whom does it belong? You, your neighbor, or the good Lord above? Answer, the good Lord, because if a peacock laid an egg instead of the peahen, that'd be an act of God. I'll probably be buried with a multiple-choice tombstone. I trawl through everything, from the Encyclopedia Britannica to the Guinness Book of Records and Linda Goodman's sun signs, in pursuit of the arcane for challenging quiz show fodder. That's the trick, you know. As well as being entertaining, questions need a certain amount of mental effort.
The one thing about a question is that the question master must feel assured that he's got all the information he needs on the card. I hate this modern trend where question masters will repeatedly say, no, sorry, that's wrong, it's not what we wanted, it's not what's on the card. When in actual fact, the contestant has given a perfectly reasonable answer. The ideal question should be worded in such a way that there's only one possible answer.
People don't have the time to think on Mastermind. They can't, it doesn't do for them to sit there thinking, what on earth are they asking me? You have to say, you know, they have to know whether you want the name of a person or a place or something like that. It has to be very clear. That is all taken care of in the phrasing of the question. And if you can't get it straightforward, you usually just leave it, just drop it and don't use it.
The early radio and television quizzes were out-and-out demonstrations of knowledge. Contestants either knew the answer or they didn't. But in recent years, as the idea of competition has become increasingly politically incorrect, the quiz shows presented an illusion of knowledge.
One particular trend that has developed occurs in 2 or 3 shows over the years, where the format is, the question starts off, we asked 100 people, what is, for example, the capital of West Germany in the days before unification? And the contestant has to guess what the majority of people said. So you may actually be rewarding false information. I know that actually makes me sound a real old pedant, but it was actually the case in several shows.
But even with the help of multiple choice or whatever other assistance you give them, contestants can still come up with the oddest answers.
Who said, this is a silly one, don't rush him, who said kiss me Hardy? Was it Stan Laurel, Mrs. Hardy or Lord Nelson?
Mrs. Hardy?
It was Lord Nelson at the Battle of Thingy.
Oh.
Right, don't worry.
This is a composer, German by birth, English by adoption. Best known for an oratorio published in 1741. It was called Messiah. You're bound to know is Handel. Who is it?
Handel's Water Music.
Well, so who's the composer?
Chopin.
What O is the generic word for any living animal or plant, including bacteria and viruses?
Orgasm. Oh.
I can remember some corkers from the early family fortune shows. One chap from the East End of London with a real London accent. And my question was, we asked 100 people to name a kind of ache. He said, a fillet of fish. To another contestant I said, and I think the top answer was the Grand National, name a dangerous race. He said, the Arabs. And to a third one, when I asked for something you open other than a door, he answered, your bowels.
Where they get these people from, I'll never know.
Happy days. For all of us in the quiz biz, achieving that right balance between contestants is crucial. Production teams have thousands of would-be contestants in their database, and they're filed under age and sex with some distinguishing characteristic, such as single mum, Jack the Lad, bimbo, baldy, vicar, beard. It's not unknown to hear a producer cry, I need a bimbo to go with a baldy, a bearded vicar, and a couple of randy grannies. But how, I hear you cry, can you become a contestant?
The perfect contestant is someone who is a little bit nervous, but not too nervous. It's someone fairly extrovert, and it's someone who can play the game, whatever the game is that you're doing. And that doesn't necessarily mean getting the answers right all the time.
I think the secret is when you go for the audition, of course you're interviewed by somebody, and I always treat them as my very best friend, and I haven't seen them for a long time. Just got to show that you're very friendly, you're not a bit shy. You've just got to try and project your personality, really.
Some people have panic attacks at the auditions, so you know if they're having a panic attack in front of me and my colleague, just sitting at a table asking them a few questions, what will they do when they're faced with 5 cameras, an audience of 300 live, and an audience of a possible 15 million or something at home?
Though there's no such animal as a professional quiz show contestant, there is a tendency among some producers to choose people who've appeared in other shows.
Get some serious quiz show people that would do anything just to get on television. I mean, there's a famous reverend at Heathrow that would actually do anything.
Are you ready, my son?
I am.
My cousin Arthur plays in an orchestra. He always has to walk to his concerts because he can't fit his blank into his mini.
Double bass.
Double bass. Right. It's been a pleasure to walk up and down for that.
I always describe it as a harmless form of lunacy because it really is great fun. I was in the audience for Bruce's Price is Right, and those magic words which I thought I'd never hear.
David Smith, come on down!
Well, we were praying for somebody like you all day.
I want a Jeep, I want a solid silver playing card box, I want a giant-sized television and satellite system, and I won a Caribbean cruise for 2.
Well done, David. Lovely.
It was an embarrassment of prizes because, let's face it, what can a clergyman do with a pink jacuzzi for 6 persons?
So what do you think?
18,000.
18,000, right. Your bid is £18,000. Okay. The actual price is... You've won the show,
I think it says in Matthew 6:24, ye shall serve no other God, and certainly not Mammon, but it obviously hasn't got through to this chaplain because he certainly worships both God and Mammon.
I was on Busman's Holiday where I won a prize that has never been repeated before or since. The prize was a week in the Vatican City with my Catholic and Baptist colleagues, and it included an audience with the Pope, which was brilliant. Catholic, Anglican, Baptist.
Thank you.
The Christian message, I suppose, is that the clergy are human beings like anybody else. I hope that I'm doing my little bit to not publicise myself, but to show that Christians can be like anybody else, have a good time and give a lot of entertainment to people.
That was Father David Smith, whose many appearances on TV quiz shows have brought him more than he could ever get with his collection plate. Which brings us to the 4th ingredient, prizes. And the woman who, as far as I know, has won the most prizes on television is Daphne Fowler.
An atom.
An atom! It's right!
I was lucky enough to win in 1983 Sale of the Century. I won a car on that.
Oh, I'm so delighted for you. Oh, there we are. We've got all those good and she's won a motor car.
And because of that, the Australians picked a team to go over to challenge their Sale of the Century winners. And altogether, I won £23,000. I actually live on a council estate in Weston-super-Mare, and I bought my council house with my winnings, and I'm still there. I do have a lucky yellow dress, I must admit. I bought it to go to Australia in 1986, and it's bright yellow with a pretty little collar, and every time I wore it, I won.
The clue is on the screen for you watching at home on Hollywood. Your time starts now. I was born in Connecticut in 1917, left fatherless at an early age. I was an adventurous youth. In 1940, I married my high school sweetheart. I often... Paul.
Errol Flynn.
Is not the correct answer. It means that, Daphne, you have control of the game and time continues now.
And of course, with Going for Gold, one of the key things at the very end of the game that always won it for you was the fame game, which was sort of, I was born in 1917 in Connecticut, and you got more, the quicker you answered it, the more points you got. So I learned 2000 birth and death dates and where people were born off by heart. I wanted to go to the Olympics, you see. I wanted it that badly.
High school, Daphne.
Robert Mitchum.
Is the correct answer, Daphne.
And I won it.
And Daphne, there's your tickets to the Olympic game. Congratulations.
I mean, that was a prize of a lifetime, really.
Now, have a look at this.
You're going for $32,000. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay, may I have it, please, Ben? The category, as you know, is the Wild West. The question is worth $32,000. And first, Buffalo Bill Cody served as scout for the Army against 2 Indian tribes. Which 2 tribes?
The Sioux and the Cheyennes.
That is correct. What Indian chief did he defeat in combat?
Yellow Hand.
What was that?
Yellow Hand.
Yellow Hand?
Yes.
That is correct. What high decoration did he receive?
He received the Congressional Medal of Honor.
You're right for $32,000.
What was the name of this show, and how did it change the face of American TV? I'll give you the answer after the break. Welcome back, and the answer I hope you were looking for was the $64,000 question, a show which was at the very heart of the notorious quiz show scandals in America in the 50s, but it was not the show that became the subject of a national investigation. That was 21, which, like the $64,000 question, was predicated on academic knowledge and big money prizes. And this marriage of brains and money was television's attempt in the 50s to acquire both respectability and ratings. 21, however, was not getting those all-important ratings until a contestant called Charles Van Doren came along.
For 10 points, one of the tough questions. In 1954, the Oscars for Best Supporting Actress, Best Director, and Best Story and Screenplay Writer all went to people who had worked in the film On the Waterfront. Name these people.
Well, the director was Elia Kazan.
That's right.
And the writer was, Schulberg.
Right.
Bud Schulberg.
And the Best Supporting Actress?
Well, the only woman I can remember in that picture was the one who played opposite Brando. But I would have thought that she would have got the Best Actress award. She's the only one I can remember. Let's see, she was that lovely, frail girl. Eva Marie Saint.
Right, you had 10 points.
Personable, attractive, all-American boy. Van Doren won $129,000. That's $1 million in today's money. And he received the obligatory offer from Hollywood. He made the cover of Time magazine. It was the American dream come true. But it was soon to become the American nightmare. Van Doren's entire appearance had been rigged, the biggest TV con ever. As Van Doren himself confessed to a congressional committee, he was given the answers and the questions in advance. He received lavish payments and was even coached in how to answer. You know, when to pause, how to build suspense. Most important of all, how to fake sincerity.
Would you like time to think it over?
As much as you can spare.
I'll tell you when your time is up.
America was stunned by the revelations. One commentator said, when at last unmasked, they betrayed the National Trust to a degree not duplicated until Watergate. Heavy. Even President Eisenhower had to take time off from playing golf to reassure a troubled nation. Not everyone was taken in. The young Robert Redford watched the shows, and he was so convinced that Van Doren was acting, and acting very badly, and was so affected by that, that he resolved one day to make a movie about it, which of course he did, with Quiz Show.
Two players racing to score 21 points. Each in a soundproof television studio, not knowing the other one's score. With $500 riding on each point.
Good evening, I'm Jack Barry. So let's meet our first two players.
How are you tonight, Mr. Van Doren?
I'm all right.
You're okay?
Yeah.
And Herb, you got your $69,500 riding here at stake. How do you feel, okay?
That's fine, thank you.
Good enough.
Did I take the third part last?
I guess that Atahualpa was the leader of the Incas at the time of the conquest.
Correct. Wouldn't that be William Allen White?
That's correct.
Name the second, third, fourth, and fifth wives of Henry VIII and describe their fates.
Oh, my goodness.
Anne Boleyn was the second.
Right.
The third was Jane Seymour.
His fourth wife was Anne of Cleves.
He divorced Catherine of Aragon.
He divorced her.
He beheaded Anne Boleyn.
Well, they all died.
Civil War.
Civil War, that's an awful big subject.
Because of a disagreement with his commanding general, Ulysses Grant was virtually placed under arrest for a brief time early in 1862. Who was the commanding general of the Union Army at that time?
Oh, yes, I know his name just as well as Halleck.
Yes, I know his name. Halleck, General H.W. Halleck.
You are our new champion with $20,000.
In contrast, British quiz shows have been a relatively scandal-free zone. But if we're squeaky clean, then it gives me inordinate pleasure to tell you that the Swiss may not be so clean. Yes, it is with the greatest of glee that I report that the Swiss, prudent, proper Swiss, are now embroiled in a quiz scandal, the 95,000 franc question. Apparently, the producers of the quiz Risico were in the habit of using the real questions at the rehearsal 2 hours before taping. I mean, how stupid can you get? I don't think you need me to draw you a diagram to show you what happened. It is alleged that one contestant actually arranged to have the questions and answers written on a loo roll in the studio lavatories. But it all went pear-shaped, or apple-shaped, as they say in Switzerland, when Tommaso Ramundo not only swept the board, but also amazed everyone with his prescience. When he was asked the name of the president of the Swiss Holocaust Fund, he replied, Fiorel Moldovan, which was not only wrong, but was actually the answer to the following unasked question about a footballer. Incredibly, Ramundo went on to win the 95,000 francs, claiming it was a coincidence. Well, he would say that, wouldn't he? Does it sound familiar at all? No? All the right answers in all the wrong places?
You have chosen to answer the question before last each time, is that correct?
Charlie Smithers.
And your time starts now. What is paleontology?
Yes, absolutely correct.
What's the name of the directory that lists members of the peerage?
A study of old fossils.
Correct. Who are Len Murray and Sir Geoffrey Howe?
Burks.
Correct. What is the difference between a donkey and an ass?
One's a trade union leader, the other's a member of the cabinet.
Correct.
Dear old mastermind, shall we ever look upon its like again, or experience once more the thrill of watching at home and actually getting an answer right? The program was invented by TV producer Bill Wright, who based it upon his experiences in a German prisoner of war camp during World War II. For decades afterwards, he had nightmares about the wartime interrogation he endured, always punctuated by the thudding litany of name, rank, and number, which became, of course, name, occupation, and specialized subject.
Your name, please?
Tony Dart. Occupation?
Chartered engineer.
In the first round, you took the life and works of Tommy Sopwith. What is your chosen specialised subject this time?
The Professor Fenn stories of Edmund Crispin.
Tony Dart, you have 2 minutes on the Professor Fenn stories of Edmund Crispin, starting now. Of which fictional Oxford college is Professor Fenn a fellow?
St Christopher's.
Correct.
General knowledge is more difficult to do because the subject keeps switching. There's no sequence. There's no path through the subject. And you can get confused by a question. You get also, the fatal thing, of course, is to get interested in it, especially if you don't know it, and then miss the next one. And if you see me in the 1997 round, you can see I missed a few like that.
Which city is the capital of Tenerife, the largest of the Canary Islands?
Pass.
After the death of Edmund Ironside in 1016, which Dane became ruler of all England?
Pass.
Which inlet of the Firth of Clyde near Dunoon was used as an American nuclear submarine base from 1961 to 1992?
Fast lane.
No, the Holy Loch.
It was absolutely terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I had no experience of anything to do with television, no experience of appearing in public, and certainly no experience of answering questions.
Actually, sitting in the mastermind chair was not that bad for me. I suppose I was quite lucky in that I found the chair itself a comfortable fit anyway. But the worst thing from my point of view is the waiting. So being one of the other 3 contestants waiting for their turn in the chair. And I did find that fairly nerve-wracking, although I don't tend to show it so much when I'm nervous.
In his Confessions, which saint described how as a youth he prayed, "Give me chastity and continence, but not yet"?
Augustine.
Correct. Which dramatist and actor wrote the play A Question of Attribution about the art expert and spy Anthony Blunt?
Alan Bennett.
Correct. The Royal Concertgebouw Orchestra is based in which Dutch city?
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam is correct. And at the end of that round, Kevin Ashman, your score has risen to a record 41 points and no passes. Thank you very much.
And I find that the tunnel aspect helped. Once the lights go down, it's easy to, or I found it easy, to concentrate entirely on Magnus and what he was asking me. Where it doesn't work for everybody, but I think the majority of people do find that that thing, or that aspect of it does help, simply because it means that the audience, which may perhaps be on 3 sides of you, is effectively blocked out. Makes it much easier to concentrate on Magnus and what he's asking.
It became BBC TV's longest-running quiz show, suggesting perhaps that academe still occupies a small niche in the national psyche. Some of these specialised subjects were very special indeed.
The Wars of the Sicilian Vespers, 1282 to 1302.
Ancient Egypt, the New Kingdom.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the Civil Rights Movement. There is a bit of an art to choosing a subject for Mastermind. Namely, you don't really want to choose anything that's been done too many times before, because when they are trying to get from 3,000 or 4,000 applications down to 500 people to see, that's obviously going to be a reason as to well, weeding you out, basically, if it's been done 5 or 6 times before.
It does gall me sometimes, though, when you see people doing things like football teams, and you think, God, you know, there's hardly any history to that at all. I mean, you know, and people who do the wider subjects, I always feel are penalised because, you know, you can be asked millions of questions on a real wide subject, and on these limited subjects they do, then there's very few questions you're likely to be asked. So it's very difficult.
I can recall doing quite close together researching the First World War, which is a massive subject, and a couple of years later, the outbreak of the First World War, which was a short period in 1914, agreed dates. But when they did the First World War, it was talking about, we would ask about a battle that lasted for several months, and we'd ask the name of it or the commander. The person doing the outbreak of the First World War had to know who sent a telegram to whom at 10:30 on Tuesday morning, and the one that was sent at 11 o'clock is irrelevant. So that's how you balance it.
I have a list of subjects that weren't allowed on the program, and for the life of me, I can't think why. I mean, what's wrong with the banana industry? Orthopedic bone cement and total hip replacement? Or routes to anywhere in mainland Britain by road from Letchworth? You can't write stuff like that.
Who is Dean Martin?
He's a kind of artist.
Yes, what sort of artist?
Pass.
That's near enough.
But why do some shows succeed while others fail? I remember the News of the World used to proclaim of itself, all human life is here. And if your notion of human life was randy curates and dodgy scoutmasters, it certainly was. But all human life is here also seems to be the ideal description of a quiz show.
Trevor, in which year did women gain the right to vote at 21?
It was 1928. God, I hope I'm not giving away too many secrets, but on most shows, there is a structure to the show. 15 to 1 is one where you have questions that come up again and again and again.
Oh, well, yes, of course, because there is only a certain amount of general knowledge. And interestingly enough, there's a lot of mileage in a single question. I mean, I could ask somebody which King of England was executed in the middle of the 17th century, and then the answer would be Charles I. And another time I could say, in which century was Charles I executed? And then I could ask another question, why is the 30th of January 1649 a famous date in English history? That's the day that Charles I was. So, I mean, there are 15 ways of asking that same question.
Now, when I knew I was going on 15 to 1, what I did was I taped all the shows. In the time that, you know, the last few months, I knew what was likely to come up. I knew the areas they may ask me questions on, so I researched them. I knew every question that I'd heard, I'd remembered in my head. I'd watched the tape of the show, and I made sure that they were in my memory. I knew there was a chance that sort of 20% of these questions were going to be asked me. So it's a big advantage to go in with that edge.
The best thing that happens for me on 15 to 1 is when there's a general election and the whole government changes, or the Prime Minister has a reshuffle and the Cabinet all changes, I've got another little batch of questions already waiting for me, and it's all free, you know. Ariel is the weekly staff magazine for which organisation?
Penguin Books.
The BBC.
From joy to despair, from sportsmanship to naked greed and corruption, from crystal fruit bowls to $64,000, as I hope we've shown in the last hour, the quiz show has it all. And it's not going to go away. There's now Challenge TV, a satellite channel dedicated entirely to quiz shows. There's also much talk of interactive quiz shows for the competitive couch potato. But if you think about it, quiz shows have always involved the folks at home. Remember that guy shouting at the set? Sky! Sea! Come on! Come on! Smurf blood! But whatever form the quiz show takes in the future, we can be sure of one thing. There will be winners.
This is the other side of the world, the most exotic and exciting holiday. Your trachea is better known as your...
Windpipe.
Yes, that's right. Now, it could be 39, it could be 50, it could be 60. What do you think?
39.
If it's 39, I envy you. If it's 39, you're on the way to Hong Kong. We want an N. Yes!
passed on nothing, but answer me this. Will the quiz show always be with us?
No question.